Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cavecast. I am your host, Kyle, and as always, I am joined by the alpha female herself, Laura Croft. I tried to deliver that without cracking, but I couldn't do it.
That was good.
No, this is a place where nerds of all fandom are welcome. And if this is your first time checking us out, you should feel really, really happy about that because we have a whole new setup tonight with some cameras and some new things we're trying out and seeing how it works.
Yeah, this is
it's good.
This is interesting, actually.
Yeah. So
I can see myself, so I apologize if I look at the camera and like break the barrier.
Yeah,
but I'm not a paid actor, so
no. Although I will say that's the one thing that pisses me off in movies is when people look at the camera and the editor didn't catch it. That's
I see it all the time.
It makes me so angry.
But you're right. This is a new setup, and if all goes well, and we can continue to do this, this would be a great opportunity for us to not only bump up the channel look, but maybe even kind of expand in general. So that being said, these are not ours. We are testing them out.
Yes, we will not reveal the origin, but yes, these are on loan.
But if all goes well, this could be a future investment, even for maybe myself. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, we'll see what happens.
Sorry,
but
fucking with my glasses, they're caught in my. There we go. I was hitting like a barrier, and it wasn't going like we're like. And people that wear glasses will know this is that if you are just even a millimeter off, it completely alters everything. So you're
right.
Like, oh my god, how do I fix this? So, but yeah.
But no, so this is a good night. This is gonna be a different night. So for people that are new or old, Kyle is the host, and he is usually usually is the one that kind of takes control. But tonight he's gonna kind of flip it around. We kind of talked today about some things and had an idea. So new setup, but also kind of a new shot at this. So new way. There you go. So tonight we were discussing certain things. Hey. Was completely confused at what just happened. No, we're good. No, we're good.
She good? I was
gonna say, yeah.
I know she's
scared me.
I was gonna say she's gonna come through the mic. So
no, scared me.
Yeah.
So
Piper's down here with us. So just as a,
for some reason thought all the cats were upstairs, and I was like, what happened?
Yeah, no. It's funny because the one that I uploaded today, because it's the same thing as I mentioned it in there too, is that she likes to pee upstairs. It's a territory thing. So,
but anyway, so all right, so tonight we're gonna talk a little bit about something that we're all probably too familiar with. We don't like to admit it, but being alone. Just alone. Now, when I say being alone, what I was meaning to you was, I mean, in the fact of you don't necessarily have to be like, oh, you're just alone constantly. You have to be.
Go on. Get out of here.
What I mean is
I got a spray bottle. You don't come up here.
Is that when you have a person that is used to having somebody around them all the time. And what I mean, work, home life, friends, children, whatever have you. When you cut some of that off or inadvertently have that taken away from you for a long period of time, I want to discuss like what that does to people.
Yeah.
And here's my thing is that some people deal with it in a really good way. Some people deal with it in a very negative way. And I think this is something that people are afraid to talk about because it's almost like depression. You don't want to admit it. So as far as like me, somebody like me, I consider myself alone. I'm not. I have, I come down here, we hang out. I have my dog. I have, Christy lives in the house as well. There's other animals and I go to work.
Right.
I am alone. I'm not with my significant other and I don't live with them. So every night when I come home from work, I'm alone. I don't get to see my family and I don't interact with them. that does take a toll on a person. But at the same time, you also have that it's like different time. It's very depressing most of the time for me, but it's also very enlightening. And what I mean is it's like a catch-22. So I can do what I want, but I also don't get to have time with my family.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have people that maybe have a significant other, but don't have any friends or a social life. They're alone as well.
Right.
So now they're just home all the time.
Yeah.
So I think in a world of a pandemic anymore, being alone is starting to become more socially acceptable.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you say it like that, because I have had many times in my life when I have either secluded myself unknowingly or purposefully, and there are people that are just like, it's unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I try to think of it in the most respectful way, but in the same time, or same hand too, it's like, look, dude, or, do that or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like, this is not anything that is done to harm or to have any issue. It's like, if you want an issue, we can have one,
Right.
but it's like, this isn't one.
Right.
I'm not doing anything to you. I'm not causing any issues. I chose to disappear for a while. I chose to just not.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I look at it. I'm a very, very, very self-sustaining person.
Correct. And
So that's kind of why I was
kind of why I thought you might actually be able to banter back and forth with me with this.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Because and this sounds different in my head, but I feel like you're kind of like me. You're alone as well, like in a sense, like you're not, but we do the same things to where we have a routine, and I know everybody has a routine, but what I mean is that we have a routine about us that is, if there's other people involved, cool. If not, if we don't really care, we don't not care in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I've had those moments that are joked about in, different sketch videos of, it's like what people with anxiety or people with, I don't know, it's not even like a disorder, but it's just like, like people that, are just introverts and like everything like that, to that effect. And they are calling someone back because they said they would or whatever. And it hasn't happened to me recently, but I will say that there was a period of time there when like you call someone, you're like, please don't pick up, please don't pick up, please don't pick up. Oh, okay. I made my effort. Sweet. Done.
Yep.
And it's like, and there's just times where it's just like, I have found myself deep in that a lot.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of my life.
Do you know what sparked it for me when I started to kind of think about this, maybe not even necessarily like just a podcast, but just kind of in general, was you actually mentioned on one of the kind of more recent podcasts about how like music just like didn't mean anything, like you couldn't listen to it just because you were just like kind of in a weird funk.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, same thing with me with like my Xbox and that I just bought. And recently again for myself, Xbox and music, actually music more so the past probably week, is just really like non-existent for me. It's very bland, which is odd. And that's kind of what made me think about this. Now, again, please, people, don't take this, I don't know, but again, shit happens. People feel a certain way. You get in moods. I'll get out of my mood. It always happens. You did. I do. It always comes around. So, but that kind of sparked it for me, and the fact of how people deal with it. And what I mean is that when now looking back, that I realize I've been here a year, right? So I went from having a certain routine in my life to the routine that I have now.
Yeah.
And is worry the right word? I guess worried might be the right word, but it's getting to the point of I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And that upsets me in the point of I know that I have other responsibilities and things that I should be doing. It's just not possible for me to do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And now while I do what I can for that, and obviously that means, being with my family, but you adjust, you adapt. I love my life right now. I'm having a good time. Mm-hmm. It's not, you can attest, like we're not partying all day and all night, and we're not but we live kind of a lone lifestyle. We don't go out. Mm-hmm. We don't entertain people. It's me and you basically, and the dogs.
There's also her too.
Well, I know. I'm saying, like, when me and you were down here, it's me and you. I get home later in the evening. So by the time you guys have done your thing,
right,
it's basically nighttime. Mm-hmm. And that's just where me and you come down here and hang out. So you get back in that routine of, like I said, like it's almost like being alone. Mm-hmm. Because I don't have to report to anybody. I don't have to, I don't know. I guess it's hard to explain, but when you have a wrench thrown like that in your lifestyle, it changes a person. And I think not everybody can handle it. Me, myself, and I've seen you do it as well. You handle it very well. Because we can handle that. We don't mind being alone. Mm-hmm. A quote, alone.
Right. I find myself more and more
you get more introverted as the older I get.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Like, this is where I've just had a very busy life for a long time.
And when you're done with work,
like it's one of those things where it's sometimes my days don't end,
right?
Until like literally until the point of up like to when I go to bed. Mm-hmm. It's like sometimes that happens, and I've had a stint recently of passing out around 9 and doing all that, and it's like then there's other nights where it's like it's midnight or anything else, but I don't know. I've altered quite a bit, and I think that what's funny is that with COVID and everything that has happened is that I've been tested at work so many times. Mm-hmm. The cotton swab thing. It's a joyful 20 seconds or whatever that you got to do everything, but or however long it is. But essentially, I look at that to where it's just like, okay, so obviously there's this idea of social distancing and everything that's going on right now. And there's stupid ass debates about everything that comes along with it. And for myself in this process, I've done everything I can to, reduce my possibility of having, a contact or a spread. Mm-hmm. So, but, it's one in the same hand too, is that, it wasn't hard because I didn't have to change my life that much.
Exactly.
Like that's what
I feel like was sad in my life, was that I didn't really have to change anything.
No, like I try to say this to even other family members and stuff that come over. Like when Devin comes over, like the first couple of times he was here at the house, I'm like, I wish I could tell you that it's more eventful than this, man, but it really isn't. Like, I'm like, we just like, if we're, home and we're hanging out, like this is what happens, so
that's what I mean. We're not party animals. We don't host. We don't do it. Like, we're just kind of,
seriously.
Yeah.
And the sad part is that
I like it.
I'm very okay with it.
Could you be alone? 100% alone. Let's just say I didn't exist. You didn't have any brothers. You weren't married. Mm-hmm. Mom and dad were gone. Mm-hmm. Like, could you just like kick it in the house? Like, could you just be?
I think the sad part is that while I do not want that whatsoever,
Right.
I think
you want it.
I think that something rang true with me with something that Grandma Dora said a while ago, and I can't remember why it was said or anything, but this was a while ago that we were having this conversation, and she looked at me and she said, "You're just like me." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You could be by yourself for a week and it wouldn't be an issue."
Right.
Now, granted, she also had the lens of her most previous marriage after that point and was just happy to have her own space after everything that happened with that, which, I mean, I don't blame her whatsoever, but that's not a situation I'd want for anyone. But there's a reason why I taught myself how to play guitar. It was all me time, dude.
To give you that space.
I loved it. And when I started pursuing film, I would get off of my warehouse job, shower, and go into the basement at mom and dad's place and edit.
Nerd.
Learn. Yeah, dude.
I know. Yeah. I remember that, man. Like,
it was insane. It was,
and that's what I mean. You were content with doing your passion, filling your time. You weren't worried about women. You weren't worried about going to the bar. You weren't worried about impressing your friends. You weren't worried about,
Well, let's be clear. I still had that aspect. It was just done in a very different way. It was kind of like, look at this sweet ass effect I made. So,
fair enough.
I mean, to be honest, like, we all do it in certain ways,
Correct. But it was just you weren't the stereotypical person with that. But even at that, you're right. Now, I didn't mean you want that, but like I said, I feel like me and you are the same, to where it took me a minute, but do I want to be this quote unquote alone? Of course not. But I can do it. I could do it. I could be in my own space all the time. Just like you said, when you would come home from work and then you would go in your own world to edit and film and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't worry about time. You didn't worry about, texting somebody back or, whatever it was. To me, I just do it in different ways. I listen to music, or, I have my own me time on certain things, as far as, I play video games, but it's music for me. I just like to, catch a buzz by drinking a little bit or whatever, and close my eyes, and I'm at my own concert type deal. And that's just what I do. I daydream.
It's the best, dude.
I daydream, and I'm completely by myself, and so much that sometimes, man, it gets away from me. And before I know it, it's hours later. So
it's the best.
It is. And I could do that every day, all day after work.
I can't remember if I ever told you this verbiage that was said by John Mulaney, but because he's an introvert as well, and what he said was that it was something to the effect of, canceling plans is like doing heroin. The endorphin and like dopamine rush you get from it.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to go anywhere, no responsibilities. It's kind of like that, moment of like if somebody were to call you and go, dude, rough night, man. Fell off the, roof and I broke my foot. I can't hang out. That's horrible.
So bad.
So,
see you next week.
Yeah, no, right. It's now here's the thing, is that it's like I love hanging out with the people I love and and like my, just everything with that. I'm very, very blessed that I have a lot of friends.
How often do you hang out with them though?
Not a lot.
See?
Quite honestly, it's the,
I have a lot of friends.
right. I find myself, very much like,
but you're alone.
Well, for instance, Sammy, most recently,
Mm-hmm.
there was a while ago, that I had just lived my life. I was focused. I was driven. I was doing my thing. And, I hadn't talked to her in so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of that moment for me to be like, man, it has been, however many, after high school and this and stuff. It's like, I've just been on the drive, I met my wife. I got a different job. All these different things.
Crazy how quick it goes.
It's insane, man. I find myself thinking of it like this, and I don't want to spin this whole thing like this is all about me. It's not,
No.
but I'm just curious to see if people relate to this or if this is something that runs through their minds. Is that I'm going to butcher this because I can't remember what study it was or what person put it together. I want to say it was Benjamin Franklin or someone to that effect, and it was the idea of what would you have happen if you were to throw a bunch of animals, carnivorous, omnivores, and herbivores, throw them all into a really big cage, and then take 10 people and put them into a cage, walk away for a little while, and come back. What do the cages look like when you come back? The example given, while I don't know if it was real, to the left, all the animals were in harmony.
Really?
They figured out, it was this example of showing that they basically had established their territories and, there were some scuffles and maybe some things like this, but nature, the life finds a way. It's that whole deal,
Yeah.
In the other cell, people were beaten. They were screaming at each other. There was division. There was all this stuff. I think it may have been an extreme model, but it was like 2 people were dead. It was the idea that it's like these people tore themselves apart in this example. And this is where I find myself very much in the mentality of, look, man, you're either here genuinely or you aren't. If not, fucking leave me alone.
Right.
I have just gotten past the point of wasting my time.
Yeah.
The same repeated process I've seen for so long in people with, behaviors and cycles and all this stuff. It's not worth it. Now, again, I'm very thankful. That is like 10% of the people I know.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's anything that is that, that much of an issue. But what I will say is that it's there. It's something that I very much have had experience in and don't want to deal with it,
So one of the things that like really caught me like when you were talking about that was when you said that had been so long with, like you and Sammy and, how,
and that was one example out of many.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And that you have a lot of friends and you're not being like, oh, have a lot of friends. Like, again,
I'm very fortunate.
So do I.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends actually, but I don't engage in really any of them anymore. And when you talk about like, oh, it's been years or, even with people that you keep up with even pretty regularly, to me, because of the fact that I have even more recently enjoyed this quote unquote being alone, if you will. But even before that, I didn't talk to a lot of people.
Right.
I didn't text and Facebook and I mean, yeah, I'll post stuff. I'll like a photo. I'll do, but at the same time, it always comes back to the same thing. I am happy with my life when I am off work, come home and do my normal routine with whether it's my family or whether it's here. Mm-hmm. That is where, like I said, I've gotten past this need for entertainment constantly and this need for people around me all the time.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I hate people. That was a quote stated to me or said to me years ago from an ex-girlfriend's mom. And we always laughed about it, but literally the older I got, the more I realized what she was fucking talking about. Because it's the truth.
Yeah.
I'm at a point in my life. Do you know what I want to do? I want to experience, and people call this like, people like, I don't know why people think this is lame. Oh, it's so lame, or it's so awkward. I want to go to a nice restaurant by myself. I want to go see a movie by myself when that's a fucking thing again.
Yeah.
I want to, I mean, I guess going to a bar really isn't that cool by yourself, but like
It
things like that. I literally drove home. Hold on. I've been talking so much. I've got a cotton mouth.
Drink your water. Don't you know to take care of your glands? They can't let themselves on their own.
I was driving home from work. I was driving home from work the other day. In town from work. Almost got a cheap hotel room because I had a hot tub and a pool and a nice bed because it was like $60 just because. I was like, I could fucking do that. Why not?
I'll check in later. Don't matter. I can check in whenever I want.
Why? I don't know. But it struck me for some fucked up dumb reason.
Isn't it so funny that whenever you haven't, and I'm going to say this very hastily, is
yes.
I'm trying not to be a dick.
Be a dick. We don't give a fuck, dude.
Okay, no, that works. All right. So isn't it funny how simple-minded we are that the most basic forms of human life in a different location just changes everything?
Bro,
It's insane. It's ridiculous.
I was ecstatic about it.
It's ridiculous.
And then I said, fuck it, I'll get Taco Bell instead and just go home.
I guess I'll just open a checking account.
No, you're absolutely right. All those stupid memes about like growing up and like in your 20s and 30s and then your 40s, like, bro, I go to Lowe's on my lunch because it's fun.
Yeah. That is
Talk about a fucking weirdo.
dude.
By myself. I don't give a shit. I look at the same 36 things I've always looked at, but I still am like, oh, that's a new color they got. I didn't see that 2 weeks ago. That's cool. Do I ever buy anything there? No, because I don't need a fucking washer and dryer right now.
No,
I don't
no.
need a back patio. Like,
Okay, all right. Okay, this is something else I got to know. Don't you get a little excited every time you go past the stackable washer and dryer and you think to yourself, I can save so much room with this?
Correct.
Again, that is ridiculous. I've never.
Guys, I got excited buying my panini press, my deep fryers, plural, and my air fryer / pressure cooker.
He's not lying.
Call me a fucking dork. I will fight you.
He's not lying.
Anyways,
And here's
I try to find more accessories for them bitches.
Here's the beautiful thing is that we have the option now to literally choose on whether we're healthier or not. It's great. So, are we? It's like, are we gonna make wings tonight? Yeah. We're gonna deep fry them. Yep.
Not gonna air fry them? Fuck no.
Yeah, we'll do that next week.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. Is that I consider that part of being that quote alone. You get excited over the little things for yourself. it's small victories for your own life that you achieve that you don't give a shit if anybody else knows or cares about. It's for you and yourself. And I think having that more of a lone mindset helps people do that. I think being alone makes people a little bit stronger.
I agree.
I really do. Now, you don't have to be alone forever.
No, and I mean, I make the, the argument, especially, it's something that you can probably even see in psychology too. I mean, I've never like delved, deep into it, but the idea of how important it is like to even get sunlight.
Yeah.
Vitamin, the vitamin you get, from that, and the fact that it's like, okay, so, also for that mental stimulus too, is that it's like, having that human interaction for so long, like without it for so long. That's why like solitary confinement is basically like hell.
Right.
Which that's one thing that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
When you said alone, of course I'll go to a dark place. But what came to my mind was, do you remember that video game from back in the day? Screw all the memories around it and in that time period, and you'll know what I mean when I say it, because I'm not going to go deep, but that video game that was you're in the jail cell, you're on death row, and the entire fucking prison goes nuts with all the monsters and stuff, and it's basically you escaping from prison and then also avoiding these like monsters and these freaks and stuff that are suddenly like crawling out of the woodwork.
No.
Okay, it was called The Suffering.
I remember that game.
Yeah.
Start with that. Lead with that, okay. Kyle.
I was trying to see if you could have that moment of
a little too much Kraken, so gotta.
The Kraken is really nice, actually. It's really good. I'm sipping it because
so am I.
It's ridiculous.
94 proof.
Yeah,
you gotta say it like that, like Easy E 94.
94 proof.
94.
That's what's up. We only drink 94 proof around here. Anything underneath, we don't do it. I don't even know what the hell that accent even is. I'm sorry. So
white boy.
Yeah, we done it. No.
Anyways,
no. This game had no business being this fucked up and that good, like whatsoever.
The Suffering.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
The name just catches you.
The Suffering.
Buying it alone just off the name.
Dude, it was crazy.
Wouldn't you buy it?
Seeing the cover of it, I'm like, I have to know. I'm like, see, I have to know. And they even made a sequel. I've not played it or watched anyone play through it because it's like PS2 graphics, so I don't know if I'd be able to stomach it because I'm too spoiled by Naughty Dog.
I know. Quick note: I've thought about buying like an original PS1 or 2 and then plugging that bitch in and trying it, like some old school Tekken.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
oh man, that's beautiful.
Bust a combo out with you. With you, on you, I meant. Fucking
I don't want you to bust anything on me. Now,
Mom, ground him.
No. But there were so many quotes that you would see on loading screens, between levels, and then also when you would die. I likened them to the fucked up kind of Guitar Hero loading screens and stuff that game had, where it said, like, for instance, in Guitar Hero, one of my favorite ones was that if the crowd is shouting for more and your sound tech is angrily shaking his head, ignore his ass and play that fucking final, or what is it? Encore. Play that fucking encore.
The encore.
So in The Suffering, they just took it a whole different way. Is that it was a...
Excuse me, guys.
It was a quote, I believe, from either a doctor in the game or a real life doctor. And basically what it said, I tried to find it, but it's an older game, so I don't know if anybody's really like got the quote, ready. But essentially what it says is, secluding a man is one of the most horrendous things you can do to him. You take away his name, you take away his clothes, you take away his hair, and you take away anyone that he has, and he is only left with himself. And that is the worst company.
Well,
that's what came to my mind when I thought of that. Now, understand, that's a man that has literally, or rather a person that has nothing.
That's what I mean, is that being alone and having nothing, I feel, are two different things. That is a very good depiction of it. So when I mean being alone, I mean I could be alone, but I still have my things.
Well, right. It's
I still have my music. I still have my TV. I still have my, I guess if you're want to be technical, I guess I wouldn't have my dog. But giving up my dog is almost like giving up my child.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, it is different having actual children, but being actually alone, if I had a TV and some form of small entertainment and then my music, I think I would be okay.
Yeah.
Being completely secluded, like you're talking about, is a completely different level of alone that I mean. That is torture.
Yeah.
That is 100% torture. When being able to entertain yourself is one thing, but when you have nothing to do, do you know what that reminds me of? Do you remember the episode of, did you watch House?
Not a lot.
Okay, there was
loved every episode I've seen, but just have never really.
Did you see the episode with LL Cool J?
No.
Okay. There's an episode with LL Cool J where he is a death row inmate and he is only allowed 1 hour rec time in a like cemented room, like open room by himself. It was a basketball court technically, but he wasn't allowed to have a basketball and he was by himself. So he had to pretend to play and do all this stuff. That was his free time.
Oh, wow.
He got so good at it that, I mean, obviously he's an actor, but you know, like he was really playing with people and fuck you, like you fouling me. And like he was in there. He learned to cope with the solitary confinement.
Yeah.
So like, I know that's in the script, but you can do it. It's not the greatest thing to try to do or go through, but you can. So I completely meant a different thing, but I don't know what else you were reading. I completely got off topic there.
Well, real quick, that literally just made me think of this was that I've never sat down to watch the movie, but because it feels like that LL Cool J could, like his character in that could like absolutely just fire back at the prison with that is in the movie Stir Crazy with Gene Wilder.
Okay.
Basically what it is it's the movie is so fucking weird. I love it though. It's essentially the warden of the prison, I guess, is into bull riding and he loves for his inmates to compete. And basically Gene Wilder is, for whatever reason, favorable to him for him to want to do this contest. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. He was already arrested wrongfully. Him and Richard Pryor both were. So they're in prison. They're in prison, and and what was great was
I do remember that movie.
This is kind of where I feel like I would be able to probably do this, because if I know somebody's trying to get a rise out of me, or if somebody's trying to guilt me, I will make sure that they don't. Like it's that idea of that. It's like, it's, you know, I don't know. I looked at this and it was like porn. It was amazing to watch this. And essentially, there's many moments that they're like, oh, you're not going to try out? All right, fine. We'll go ahead and just hang you from the ceiling in your cell by handcuffs. So they put him in there and like for 3 days, and he finally gets down and he's all, oh, my back problem's gone. Yeah. Thanks, Warden. Just, you know, or like he puts him in, he gets put in the hot box. I think it's Craig T. Nelson plays like the head guard or something. He's fantastic. And he puts him into the hot box out in the middle of the desert. And when he comes back 3 days later, he pops it open and goes, you ready to, like, you know, to comply? And he comes out and Gene Wilder's, his hair's all frizzy. He's got a 5 o'clock shadow and he's like, just one more day. I was just about to find myself. He just was not giving it to him. Like, now he was miserable, but he was not letting this guy know.
He wasn't right. He wasn't breaking, dude.
It's one of those things where it's kind of like that's one of the things that used to piss off mom and dad so much whenever I got grounded, because I got grounded a lot when I was a kid. Homework, fuck it. But basically, they didn't know how to ground me properly. And what
You didn't do anything.
they were just like, you can't go outside. I'm like, okay. We'll take away your TV. Go ahead. I don't give a shit. We'll take away your video games. I'll enjoy it more when I have it again.
You fucking asshole.
And I remember, I can't remember how I heard the conversation. I think mom just straight up gave up one time. She's like, I don't know what to do. Like, and she's like, I already had this conversation with Mike last night. She's like, how do we take away anything from a child that literally doesn't want anything? So
that's what I mean.
I knew I could sleep whenever I wanted. I was fed. I could shower, and I was still able to, I think, read.
You can't sleep.
Books.
You can't shower, and you can't eat. That's what they're going to take away from you.
Yeah, one of those
so
things where
you
it's
can't be a human.
That's right. I'll call Child Protective Services.
Yeah, 1-800 for a child. Remember that, Mom? She knows.
She is the one that would 100% know that.
That's just really funny that you say that, because you're absolutely right. It's not that, and again, don't mistake that for being that Kyle was just like a slug and didn't do anything. He just didn't care.
This a lot of
it didn't bother him. That was the thing.
The best way to describe this is that excuse me, wow, straight into the mic.
I thought that was me.
No.
I felt something in my throat and it came out in your mouth.
No. My buddy Jordan, that I lived with for a little bit, somebody asked him, they were like, what's it like having Kyle as your roommate? And he said, it's kind of like not having Kyle as your roommate. Like, he's like, he keeps to himself. He doesn't really bother anybody. Like, you know, it's like,
I try to strive to be that person too.
It's good. Like I had never had a place where I had that much freedom and just that much peace. It was so nice.
So again, you were alone.
I was. Now, here's the thing is that I still.
But you weren't alone.
No, because it was one of those things where it's like I was able to recharge in a very, very unique way. Now, recharging is different for everyone, and it evolves throughout your entire life. You have to change. You have to change the way that you do things and how you perceive things. This is what I was going to say. This will maybe tie into this. I just looked at the psychology of being alone and seeing if there was any big facts that came out. But I had kind of a really big existential crisis when we left Johnson Street, the duplex. I remember when Mom and Mike were moving. Now, I wasn't living with them at that time, but I could always go back there and, I could visit and I could, see my old room. I could, take a shower there and still feel like I went from there to a very big house. I love that. I loved that duplex. And when I realized what was happening of this place wasn't going to be ours anymore, I just kind of sat there and I was like, man, I grew up here. I played my first Green Day song downstairs.
Yeah.
I shaved for the very first time in that bathroom when I had my dirty stash and, the peach fuzz. I felt my first boob here. Like I felt like I learned how to edit. I mastered things I thought I never would. I got to have a killer backyard with a fire pit that would put most fucking multi-million-dollar houses to shame.
Yeah, dude.
We had
And neighbors that didn't give a shit. Tom and BJ were fucking man.
they were
and woman.
right. They were amazing, and it's like just
She'll whoop a dude's ass.
Oh,
BJ.
Oh.
Will fight you.
That is somebody that I think that I would love to somehow
have personally on the actual show.
Yes, even if it means like you or
I'll
I
pay for. Yeah, I won't drive.
It's like if it's one of those things where like if I can only have her, I'll only have her. But it's like, but if I want all three, and it's like, oh my God, that'd be so fun. But no, we love you, BJ. But she's basically
we love you.
easy there. No, that was a nice one, huh?
Pineapple.
Very good pineapple.
Very tart.
Very droll. Yeah. No, there was so many things about that place. I lost a lot there. I gained a lot there.
Yeah. Do you think it's because you were there? Because it was small? Because it was the neighbors we had? Because of the backyard you had? Because of the, like, just because of the, are we in the Bible?
The thou. No. Yeah.
Me too.
I remember if mom's watching this, she's probably gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry, but I remember.
She's gonna cry.
I remember the very first time I ever stepped into that house, the duplex, and there was nothing in it except for a TV. And it was a very small, thick cube that was white and had like a black border on the front of the screen. And it's what I used to play Zelda on at Aunt Heidi's. And I think, I'm probably wrong, but I think what happened was that Mom asked if she could take it to the duplex because we had cable there. So it's like you could plug it in there. You got basic cable. Yep. And
oh, I remember what you're talking about.
And I remember going in, I think, well, yeah, I was with her, and we just looked around and we were just like, this is ours. Because we had been at Aunt Heidi's for so long. And it was like, this is great. Like, you know, it's like we finally have a place that we can have, and it's like, we have our own space. And we turned on the TV, and the first thing that was on there was, this is so crazy. This is going to date this so much. Fear Factor was a new episode that night, and they were chugging ostrich eggs. I remember it, and we were watching this, and we both just sat on the floor and just watched this gross thing. I mean, I guess that's what kind of like has evolved now into LA Beast for us. But yeah. I don't know. There was such an amazing beginning to that. And as time moved forward, and I really started to understand that, like, I grew up immensely in that house. I went from being, you know, the kid that only ever talked about, you know, video games to now the kid that talks about video games and, you know, we'll talk to you about life.
Buddy,
you know?
you were barely in your double digit age.
Yeah.
Let me date this for you real quick. I have pictures with Tricilia
in that house,
in that duplex.
Or duplex, yeah.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say I have pictures. If I could ever find my MySpace again, they're in there. I have pictures of her holding Devin on my MySpace.
Yeah.
I have pictures with her giving you hugs in that living room.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long that dates that. Like, you got to think I was between 18 and almost 20, 21, 22 years old with before she left out of my life.
Yeah.
I guess I should say is the proper term. But so Think about that. Look at how long and that was like when we were really dating.
Yeah.
Like really, like I lived there. I was still borderline in high school, graduating from my school.
Yeah.
So 18 years old, you were probably 10.
Yeah.
We're 8 years apart. If I was 18, you were probably 9, 10, maybe 11.
Man.
You're what? You're about to be 30, right?
Yeah. I just turned 29. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're about to be 30 next year. So think about that.
What floors me so much is, and I mean, we've talked about this in a way, but I don't feel any different.
You don't. And that's
so weird.
where this whole like quote unquote alone thing comes into play for me. I don't feel any different. I don't feel different. I feel, it's almost sad to say, but like I feel complacent in this world where like I've just learned this is okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be successful. I'm not going to be anybody other than just I'll probably work my entire life. Like I will be that guy that's quote retired at 70, but still needs to work a part-time job till he dies.
Right.
I worked a job before going back to Verizon for a year with my cousin at a metal shop. And there was a gentleman there who was 82 years old, drove truck.
82.
82. He drove the
Holy
truck.
shit.
He drove one of the trucks.
Sorry.
And
1 second. Let's get it. There we go.
He
I couldn't pay attention. My
He
tailbone.
was retired, but I think he still needed to work part-time to make ends meet. That's sad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also understand the fact of, again, that being alone but not being alone is different in the fact of he just wanted to keep his mind busy. He was still alone in the truck. Nobody to talk to all fucking day. He didn't text all day. He didn't FaceTime. He was like in his fucking 80s. He didn't do that shit.
No.
He still used a fucking map. They would print out MapQuest directions.
That has been way too long since I've even seen that. Wow.
Print them out for him to tell him where to go if it was somewhere new. He loved it. He showed up every morning at 7:00 in the morning with us, clocked in, told us dirty jokes all the time, and then went about, and he was like this fucking big, dude. Awesome. And I just sit there and think, man, he's kind of living the life. He gets up. He's already up at fucking probably 6 anyways.
Yeah.
He's already had his coffee, taken his shit, taken his poodle out to fucking walk, left his wife, kissed her on the forehead, and went out the door and got to come into work, bullshit with the guys, talk about pussy because he loved talking about bitches for a few minutes, load the trucks, and then he was on his fucking day for 8 hours.
Yeah.
He came back, told a few more dirty things, went home. He didn't talk to nobody other than when he dropped off. And he was that one, again, busting balls, but he was, I don't give a fuck. Don't talk to me. He does. But that's how he was.
Yeah.
He was happy with that. He was happy with where he was in his life. And I kind of strive to be that. Not that I want to be completely alone, but I like the fact that you and your wife have your own routine.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to fall into something like that. I'm sure him and his wife had the same thing, but he got to go to work, do all these things, and we all take it differently. Me and you growing up in that duplex, that had its own memories and its own lessons and its own things that we did. like you said, you got your first boob there. You got your first editing job there. You got your first, and you did all of that because you were in your own mind focused.
Yep.
You didn't care about other people. You didn't care about going out and hanging out. You cared about your thing.
Right.
And I think that's what people lose sight of, is that when we're younger, we focus on the things that we care about. And we push everything to the wayside. You had friendships that were like on the rocks because the fact you spent so much time on your stuff. You didn't care, and you tried to tell these people, "Hey, man, I'm trying to do something here."
Yeah, and
You were in your own world.
I've been very, very fortunate that when it's come to my ambitions and my loves and my hobbies and things like that, I don't really have the underdog story of, like, oh, it's like, there was, everybody kept telling me like kind of like the idea of, Corey Taylor being like, coming from Des Moines, Iowa, nobody should be coming out of there making
Right.
anything of themselves in like, in any kind of, well-known factor. And it's like 9 people did something incredible.
Right.
And therefore
I don't like Slipknot,
right.
but I can attest at what they've done for music.
It's stupid. It's ridiculous.
I mean, they're talented. You can't get around that.
No. And it's
So yeah, you're right. 9 people out of Iowa. You're, okay, well, let's see what they got.
right. And it's like, kind of like when we heard that Margot Robbie was going to be Harley Quinn. Oh, well, let's hear them out.
Oh, just let me let that makeup run down my. Never mind. Sorry, Mom. Been drinking.
No.
So take.
No. This
I
is,
have. He hasn't.
this is just syrup with water. What are you talking about?
It's been fermented in an oak barrel.
For a very long time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but
You lost it.
no.
Oh.
Yeah. Damn. I was worried about. Oh God, did I did
Margot
Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
We were what the hell?
Harley
was I saying?
Quinn.
Well, I can't remember.
Anyways.
but I just I don't know. Being alone to me isn't all that bad.
No.
And I find that the most peace I think that I've had before is when I'm able to be alone with other people.
Explain yourself.
For instance, there was, this is not the most recent or the best example ever. This was just the first example I ever got to experience something with this, was that, there was a good friend of mine that, we were living on Johnson Street and everything. And it was around that like, that period of my life. And, I had my Toshiba purple laptop that I destroyed the CPU rendering so much. It was
I remember that
to
thing.
this, like, it makes me panic and like want to like fucking buy a new laptop because of how badly I treated that
You're
one.
like situating yourself.
No, my ass just hurts. But yes, sometimes I get a little scared about things. So, but no, it was nuts. I beat the fuck out of that thing. And I remember doing my nightly routine. I was editing together the very, very, very first sketch that I ever used multiple camera angles on.
Okay.
And I was so excited about it. I was with Luke and Sammy. We were up. You can still find the video still to this day. I was so fucking pumped. I was like, man, like I followed what Film Riot told me. I'm going to put, you do the same thing, over and over again, just film it in 4 different angles or whatever. And then you edit the best cut together and post of what you enjoy. Add your sound effects, add your music. Bam, you got a fucking sketch. You're good to go. Give me my $1 million. That's what I thought to myself at that point.
Give me my $1 million.
So
Buying mama house.
I plan to. But
Me too.
oh God, that'd be great. We'll both buy her one. So I'm sitting in the basement and I'm getting ready to just melt the plastic on the pool table that this Toshiba's gonna sit on. Like that's just like that's how I looked at this. I'm like, I'm just gonna make this thing run like until I fucking do this. Friend calls me, says, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I am about to fucking make a lot of progress right now with filmmaking, man. I am so pumped. This is so cool." And he was like,
Really?
"Okay." He's like, "Well, he's like, I kind of had a weird question." I said, "What's up?"
Do you know the Muffin Man?
"Do you know the Muffin Man?" "Yes, I know the Muffin Man." No,
Eat me. Yes.
enjoy your barbecues, you fat pieces of shit. No, it's Joe Santagato. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, he was like, "Well, I just got the most recent Halo game," and I was like, "Oh, sweet, nice." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How far are you?" He's like, "That's the thing. I haven't really played through the story. I kind of want to hang out, but I kind of want to play this game." He's like, "Would you want to come over and like, play through the story?" I'm like, "Video gaming's the last thing I want to fucking do." I'm like, "But I would really love to edit this. If you're cool with it, I'll just sit in the living room with you. I'll edit this and you can play your game. We'll fucking chit chat." And he's like, "Oh my God, that would be so fucking cool." He's like, "Yeah, let's do it."
See?
I remember, dude, we went down to the local gas station. We got a bunch of snacks. We got like I remember he got these little cube like salami spicy things, and then he got he got a carton of chocolate milk to himself. And I said, "What's with the thing here?" And he's like, "I get bad acid reflux." He's like, "This chocolate milk's the only thing that helps me," as you know. And I was like, "No shit." And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like,
Has he heard of? Never mind.
"No." So it was fantastic. We just went back to his apartment and just hung out.
You guys hung out without hanging out.
We check back in with each other every now and then. It was one of those things where he's like, if you want to crash here, you can. And I was like, nah. I'm like, I got to be up for something, so I'm gonna go ahead and head out. But it was cool,
Bro.
I've only ever done it once, like in that aspect with a friend. But
That is what I'm fucking talking about.
when you can be alone together.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
talked to, so Adam, I'll tell you about this tomorrow at work, but it will be like 2 weeks from me seeing this anyways. But
Right.
We actually just talked about this today. So my boss, Adam, was telling me he is a major introvert, right?
Mm-hmm.
His wife has told, or not told me, but his wife has told other people, and Courtney from Verizon, they're all mutual friends, told me the same story, is that when she introduces Adam to people, she actually kind of introduces him beforehand, because she's like, "Hey, look, before you meet him,
Yep.
just know this. You're going to think he hates you. He doesn't.
Yep.
He just needs a little bit of time to get to that point of liking you." I love Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Adam is awesome. He's actually probably one of the funnest guys I've ever talked to at work on other things than rap music. I'm serious.
Oh wow.
I'm like honestly. I don't get into cars. I don't get into like typical man shit, but I can talk to you about music and hip hop and, rock and, all this stuff. But beyond that, Adam and I talk about other things, and he actually tells me about certain, like, he's real big into like Yu-Gi-Oh and like things
wow.
like, yes.
I've not heard that in so long.
Oh,
That's
dude.
crazy.
But what I mean is that he is such an introvert, but he's really good at his job. He's my manager. He's my store manager. So his job is to talk to people. He can do that as a job. When it comes to his personal life, he's picky. And I get that. And you know what? I almost applaud him for that, because of the fact he takes the time to go, all right, yeah, we can be friends. Or no, dude, I'm not going to waste my time. So his wife actually like intervenes first, is what I'm seeing. And then lets people know that please don't take this the wrong way. Meet him once, then meet him again.
Yes. Yep.
And I think I think that's acceptable. I think that should be with anybody, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Whether you're an introvert or not, first impressions are everything. But first impressions don't always mean that's what the person is.
Oh, yeah.
My first impression of Adam was completely different. Way different. Sorry. But that was also a work talking environment,
Right.
if you will. And then I actually met this person and worked with him. Dude, he's on my Xbox. He's on, we have, personal phone numbers. Obviously, well, we do work together. But so what I mean is, like, even at that, like, personal Xbox, have we played an Xbox game together? No. But we actually opened up. That's probably huge for him. For me, it's just giving out my gamer tag. To him, that was probably a big deal.
He had to knock down a couple of fences in his
Correct.
yard. You're not in the house, but you're in his backyard, and that's a
correct.
pleasure. So yeah, right.
That was after me and him. I think I've talked about this before. Me and him were the ones that were we were on that hunt, that prowl for our Series X's together at work.
Yeah.
And I've seen him get online, and I just don't play with him yet, and it's just really awkward times. It just hasn't happened yet. I know that playing with Adam online is going to be great and amazing and fun, but I also know how he is, and learning that from other people is he is alone. And what he said actually today was he loves the fact that his wife knows that he's an introvert and can introduce him like that he can be in the same room playing a video game while his wife is doing whatever.
Yeah.
They are still in the same room, but they're doing their own thing, like you just said.
Yep.
When you have partners that can agree and be okay with that, I think that's great.
Oh yeah.
You're not ignoring the other person.
No.
You are in the same room. I might be watching Rocky IV right now, him fighting the Russian, but my girl is next to me on Pinterest. I fucking love Rocky IV. She might not like it. She's in the same room with me, hearing me scream at the TV, fucking getting pumped and wanting to drink beer and fucking do what. She's doing it with me. She doesn't have to be so involved with it, but she wants to sit next to me.
That is,
you're alone without being alone.
I think that the best example of that, and it's a trend that has, continued on, the course of mine and hers relationship, is that I remember being done at a Christmas function, and that year she got me the Uncharted collection. It was the first 3 games.
Yep.
Best fucking gift ever, dude. It was remastered for the PS4. I had all my Uncharted games again that I couldn't carry over from the PS3 to the PS4.
Wasn't that bullshit?
It was, but however,
Bro.
The timing of it was perfect because we got to I got to experience the 3 games with her right before Uncharted 4 came out. So what was awesome was that it's like I was gushing about Uncharted 4. I was so excited. Like, it's a game I'll probably play like 10 times again before I die. Like, it's like I'll consistently play it and I'll come back to it. I love it. Obviously I've beaten The Last of Us way more than that, and I've wasted so much of my life beating that 30 times. So obviously video games for me are unpredictable, but basically I remember sitting in her apartment in the living room, and I just looked at this trilogy and I was like, man, she got this for me. This is crazy. Like, this is awesome. I'm so thankful. Like, this is ridiculous. And I wanted to play it so bad, but I didn't want to play it in front of her.
Right.
She was making dinner, and I was just gushing over it. I was reading the box. I was seeing what all was different and all that stuff. And she was like, do you want to play your game? I looked at her and I went, excuse me? Because like I literally just like had that thought of like, man, I really wish I could, but I'm like, no, I'll probably watch a movie or something. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, this can wait. I'm like, this is the
Correct.
she's like, well, yeah, actually, she's like, you said it was like watching a movie, and I'm like, it's exactly like watching a movie.
Rip it open fast enough.
But we both agreed like when like because I started playing Uncharted 2 and then I got exposed to the rest of the series as it came out, and that's how I found Naughty Dog and their new form, all that stuff. But I never played Uncharted 1 because I heard it was absolute ass, and it
Yeah, I
was.
never played it either because you said not to. When when me and Ashley borrowed it, you're like, don't do it, just play the rest of them. And
Yep. It is unfortunate. Now, what is beautiful is that you can see the game they were trying to make in 2. Uncharted 1 was their first run, and they didn't really have all the bugs worked out. Excuse me. Uncharted 1 basically was a lot of fun because it was actually one of the very first motion capture, like serious acted games where they were hiring very, big writers and actors and directors and stuff to do, these, certain scenes and motion capture them and everything. And because video games just used to go into a vocal booth, but now we're adding movement. Now it's we're going to add movement and not voice them after the fact. We're going to add mics on the top of their head and get the most realistic performance.
See?
Oh, now we're going to do motion tracking on their face, and we don't have to hand key their face anymore. What you see the characters doing is there was an evolution.
Look at the evolution in gaming and how people can stand to be alone.
Yeah.
They interact with you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So you don't need real human interaction half the time. So you're right. You're right. Like, look at what you were, all the stuff you were just gushing over because of the things that you did in your own time, about, and the things that you wanted to focus on. You know about that stuff. I don't. Things you're just saying to me were Chinese to me. They sound cool, but I vaguely know what they mean. You know exactly what they mean because you took time.
Yeah.
In your life. Doesn't mean you can't do that with other people around you.
Oh, but I mean, well, again, one of the things that Christy even said to me too, like when we first started dating, was
like I said, it was with you and her.
Was Jane Spader as Ultron? She was like, she's like his mannerisms. You can see them, like what he's done on the Blacklist. It's basically Raymond Reddington, except he's a robot that's 3 days old.
Right.
And it was the fact that like she understood that and she saw that. She's like, oh my God, he does the chin thing. Like, oh, you like it just like he like does that thing. Everything worked so well, and it's sad like that. It's like this. It took this long, but I'm so happy to experience it and see that evolution happen because, I mean, literally, first week of the lockdown last year, you bought Doom Eternal and she got her Switch. Like it's this. I have literally thought
That's
about
why everything
this
went on sale, dude.
I've literally thought about this so many times. I'm the perfect person to live through COVID because I'm like, does it suck? Yeah, I hate that there are restrictions and this and that and everything. Everybody does. It's like we're all dealing with like what that looks like for us. Everybody's different. There are people that are much less fortunate. I'm very thankful that things have worked out the way they have, for this, for this house and everything that's happened with that. Okay, like I get all that. It's one of those things where I've been able to look at this and go, I was able to 100% Doom during this time because there was nothing else to do. We were cooped up. Like we couldn't do anything. It's like I was home a lot.
Yeah.
So and then The Last of Us Part 2 came out and I was able to experience that.
I loved watching you. That's what I mean, dude. I was alone.
Right.
I sat down here and watched my brother play a game. How fucking sad am I? Okay.
I think that it also helps out the fact that that's also very cinematic too. So you're not just watching Pong, So
no, but it's just the fact of you're right. It's you found you had that time and everything just kind of came into place. And then with COVID and everything, no, we didn't change our lifestyles because of the fact that we just had a simple life.
Yeah.
And not that you're I don't want to say okay with it, but like you're okay with it, and it's okay to be okay with it.
I take my time that I can, to make sure that I keep my wits about me,
Yeah.
But what I have found is when you were talking about Adam and the idea of, how he can maybe come off wrong at first, give him a second time kind of a thing. I'm in no way equating myself to the IQ or the brilliance of this man, but
He's very intelligent.
wait, I'm really intelligent.
Oh yes,
Or-
you are.
or-
No, you are too. Yeah,
I was like, are you reading my mind? That was freaking me out. I was like, wait,
he is. I was like, yeah, you're. No, I was like, yeah, he is, and so are you. Like, yes,
well,
that's
I mean,
funny
thank-
that you say that.
Thank you, but Elon Musk is someone that I relate to a lot. Now he has
Okay.
a very severe way of doing this, which is not a character flaw. Ironically, like when you talk to Elon Musk, you have 70% of his attention at all times. 30% of the time, he's working.
Oh, of course.
When you watch the very first time he was ever on Joe Rogan to the most recent time that he's on it, it's like two different people.
It is.
You can tell, like, because like when he would answer questions about things, beforehand. I mean, he smoked a blunt with them too, so it's like it's like there was
He
like
didn't really inhale.
well, no, but like he took his hit and did his thing, and which I loved the fact that they were
so
like,
funny. He made way more money. Oh yeah, his stocks plummeted for a second.
then they went up. I think what was it? They went up 6 points the next day or
What
something.
happened the next day?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Read your facts, Jack.
No, but what was so funny was that like when you see him answer a question, like he'll do that whole like his eyes are off doing his own thing, and he's
calculating.
he's thinking about he's thinking about his answer, but he's also running through in the time period that Joe has been asking him a question or ranting or reminiscing or doing anything that they're doing. Elon's still working.
He just built steel fucking wheels to go on Mars while he was talking to Joe Rogan. Like,
right,
not really,
right.
but like
It's-
that's what he was. Yeah,
The problem is that if I do that, I tend to lose my attention in the
Yes.
room completely. Elon, and to me, from what I would understand, is that he is so intelligent and so much of a genius that he has been able to basically run two currents at the same time.
it's one
So-
thing for me and you to multitask. His multitasking is completely different.
Yeah.
Earlier this morning, Jesus Christ. Earlier today on the podcast, y'all will see it. You can rewind. When the cat was coming over here, I knew what I was trying to talk about and can multitask and come over here and do the same thing, but it breaks me up because I'm making sure I don't grab the cat, hurt the cat, bump the mic, hit the camera, do all this and turn at the same time while finishing my thought.
Yep.
That man has mastered the fact of he can jerk off, give you an answer, and fix a fucking car lug at the same time.
Elon, if you ever watch this, thank you.
Lug nut, not lug. But I'm just saying, like, that was an extreme thing. But I'll bet you, because just like you, when he was younger, he spent a lot of alone time. And not because he was a dork or nobody wanted to hang out with him. He chose to do it because he was doing something he knew was going to benefit him in the long run. You knew what you were doing before we knew what you were doing.
Yeah. It's
And look at where we're at. All four of you, here we are.
Thank you. No,
Kyle Wright 425 podcast. Here we are.
the Cave Cast.
Now we're the Cave Cast.
I was gonna
We've
say-
evolved. No, I was getting there.
No, but yeah,
But I'm serious. Look at where you're at.
I mean, it's cool, man. Like I've it's so weird. I never try to be a stereotype of any kind, but it's like you always have that mentality of like, if I just have this, and if I just have this, then I'll be fine. If I have this, I try to take that. I mean, because that's the human nature Some say that's a God void. Some say that that's a, hobby voids. There's everything you can say that, can fit into that. But what I will say is that I have chosen to allow that to fester until the point that it needs to be removed. And that's how ideas work with me. That's how my drive works. I've never been able to articulate that ever. Like it's basically like I over obsess and think about ideas and things all the time. And I finally just got to the point where I was like, fine, let me figure it out. Let me beat it at its own game. And let me do this to where I can essentially use this to create the content that I wish.
Do you think you've won?
No, I still haven't written the middle. It's still festering. It's up here.
That's your winning ticket.
I'd say it can be. I think that I think it's going to be
Don't you say it can be, or is it?
It depends on if I get. This is going to be so fucked because I've been talking about this for so long. But this is just how my mindset works. Is that it depends on if I get bored and if I move on to something else.
Nah, you ain't bored with it. You're gonna always stick with this,
right? What I'm saying is that it's like this is. I kind of liken myself to Rob Zombie. In the fact of that, the mentality that I have with things is I almost want to get this like either tattooed or I want it down here in a quote. It says, or he says that I kind of feel like I'm the guy that should have gotten hit by that bus. I just never did. He's like things just kind of worked out. Like the whole reason why House of a Thousand Corpses got made, he talked about it on Joe Rogan. He pitched something to Universal Studios that of a movie he didn't even have. All he had was a name, and he just built up.
They're
all
like,
the
I
ideas.
fucking love it.
Yeah, and then
They're like, oh shit.
So he finally got his chance to make movies, and then after he finally made it, they told him it was unreleasable, and they moved him to Lionsgate or IFC or whatever it was, and then they fucking funded him. So
and look at what happened.
And actually,
I'll bet he's crying all the way to the bank.
What's really funny is that if you go to Universal Studios now, there is actually a House of a Thousand Corpses haunted house you can go to. Even though
bet they pay him.
Probably, but in the same hand, I could also make the argument that they don't, because I think that they gave up a certain amount of rights or whatever it was on the cinematic standpoint. So I don't know. I mean, there's probably a whole business side of it and stuff, but he joked about it on Joe Rogan, basically saying he's like, yes, now you can go there and fucking find it there. And he's like, but okay, but you guys couldn't release my movie. Okay, fine. It's like, all right,
it was
whatever.
so horrible beforehand, but now you want to fucking make it an attraction.
Yeah, and to this day, he still can't remember exactly what they said to him, because Joe was just like, he's like, where did they tell you? What was the reason? He's like, they were like, it's unreleasable. You've got to change it. Like, so like it just is what it is.
Okay, well, give me plot points here.
Yeah, it was, but it basically, that's kind of how I have viewed my ideas and the way that I come up with things. Dude, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing when I was making Bob the Demon. I didn't know anything of like every single day was an adventure. It was just I followed off of what the fans said and let it just grow into what they loved. They were like, hey, you should name the demons. I'm like, cool, we're doing it. All of them have names. Now they're all relatable. Now people are going to be like, where the hell's Toby? Where's Karen? Where's this?
Right.
How crazy is that Karen became a thing after that? And like now that's a thing. And that was a name I genuinely have for one of my demons. Like it's insane. Like and then, moving on to lives, having conversation or TikTok lives and talking with people and all that stuff and getting ideas. And, I've never once had a plan. I've always just kind of just gone by the seat of my pants. And for some reason it's worked for a while.
Do you think that, being secluded helps people? And what I mean by, okay, I saw something, I watched something, and I was interested in something. Do you remember Andy Milonakis?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love Andy Milonakis.
It's my show. You can't tell me what to do. When life hands me lemons, I make beef stew.
I follow him on Instagram, and I saw something today. It was about a week ago that they like released it. And it was the rise and fall of Andy Milonakis.
Oh,
and
wow.
It basically went through everything. And what I noticed was Andy Milonakis didn't really sabotage his own career. Andy Milonakis' career died because of other people's careers dying. And not that he was attaching to that. It was just the fact of he is who he was. He was who he was and had a name. But I see all of his Instagram. I see all of his tweets and YouTubes and his Twitches and things that he was doing. It was always by himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a girlfriend. He doesn't have a boyfriend. He's not married. He doesn't have any kids. It was always him in his house walking around with his own phone with a couple of friends maybe here and there. He was fucking alone.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's what I'm trying to get at this is that I think people think alone is a bad thing. It's not. Oh, you're alone. You're automatically depressed.
No.
Oh, you're alone. You're automatically just an asshole. Or you're alone because you're No. I found out from things I was reading. Mandy Milanakis is one of probably the nicest people you could come across in the industry, is what they were saying, is that he just got himself involved in bad things every once in a while. But what I'm getting at is that when he posts things, takes pictures, when he's out and about, when he does whatever, I don't see anybody else with him, like with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's either the media or whoever he's like recording with. He doesn't have that other person or those other people. Yeah, he might be rich and might be famous. It don't matter. Look at Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
How alone is that man? He's happy.
Yeah.
He managed to take something that was negative and turn it into a positive. I look at the fact that my aloneness and my secludedness of my own, I try to flip it into a positive. When I wake up in the morning and everybody here is gone, you're gone at work, your wife's gone at work. I am privileged. I say that privileged enough that I don't have to be at work until about 2 hours after you guys do.
Right.
I don't live with my family. I don't have to do anything. I get those 2 hours. That is a privilege to me.
Do you find
I can get up. I can do my routine. I can listen to music. The house is mine.
Mm-hmm.
I usually sleep.
Right.
But what I'm
Right.
saying is that I can.
Yeah.
And I have, and I do.
Right.
Sometimes it's just me and Thor. It's just there's just something about it. Doesn't bum me out that my kid isn't here. It doesn't bum me out that I don't have a girl in front of me. It doesn't bum me out that like none of these things that I'm not drinking coffee and discussing my morning. Like it doesn't bum me out, but it does on certain days.
Yeah.
You go back and forth, but I know how to deal with it. And I like it. I get to be alone. Ashley doesn't get that privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. She doesn't get that privilege. And it makes me feel like kind of an asshole sometimes.
Mm.
I really feel like an asshole sometimes because she doesn't get that. Ever. Since I've known her, because she's had Riley.
Right.
So me taking my mornings and my alone time and my alone time at night when I go to bed, if you've passed out at 9 o'clock, like you were talking about,
Yeah.
you like that.
I do.
And you got to do it. You didn't have to answer to no. Nobody was mad at you.
Right.
Nobody texted you the next day about why the fuck didn't you answer me? So that's what I mean. You were alone.
Yeah.
They left you alone. Ashley doesn't get that. And I think about things like that she doesn't get to experience that and how much we take for granted that type of thing. Being alone doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing, like I've said. Being alone can be just relaxing and just getting back to your own thing. One of my favorite lines from a musician was Ryan Upchurch.
Yeah.
Before he even started his rap or his country song he said, yo, I spent about a week in the woods in a cabin, smoking weed, drinking beer, getting back to myself by myself.
Yeah.
Shut his phone off, fuck a social media, fuck my music career, fuck my friends. Not in a bad way.
Just like, this is me time.
I have an ounce of weed. I got 2 cases of beer, some water, and some food. I'm in a cabin. I'm taking a week and just gonna fucking sleep on a cot and chill in this cabin. Let me just woo-saw some shit. Man, sometimes it helps. Being alone is not a bad thing. And this is where I guess I was trying to get at, is that being alone, to wrap this up, is not a bad thing. Whether you're alone or you're alone with people.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds stupid, but you know what I mean, and I think they know what I mean.
It's not an oxymoron. While it sounds like it is, it's not.
It's not. Me and you and everybody else in this world know how to be alone without being alone. And I think that if everybody could just take a second, breathe, and just cope with themselves for a minute, we would all live a lot easier, honestly.
Yeah.
Everybody is so caught up in the moment, in the time, and the now, and everything around them that we all forget to just take time for ourselves.
The great George Carlin said it was that, doesn't anybody just take a fucking walk anymore? I'm like,
No, I took a walk with, oh, sorry, Bubs. I didn't mean to scare you. I took a walk with Thor the other night. My headphones and my dog.
Perfect. It's amazing.
I listened to the same 6 songs I always listen to, but it was different. You're right. It was impressive. It was different. It was incredible.
Yeah.
So I guess my thing is that I know we veered off a lot tonight. We've
Welcome to the man cave.
Yeah, welcome to the fucking man cave, dude.
This is what happens.
Being alone, guys, doesn't mean that you have to be alone. Don't fear taking out time for yourselves. Don't sit there and think that you can't work on yourself or that people are going to judge you for being alone. Do what you do for yourself before you do anything for anybody else. I've literally learned that this year. You have to work on yourself before you can work on anybody else.
Yeah.
I can't tell you to change if I haven't changed myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's powerful,
that being,
man.
it really is.
It's a big deal.
No, it really is. So thank you guys for going on this journey with us. It was a weird fucking night. New cameras, new everything. Oh, new tattoos. I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't know what you can see. We'll focus on this later on. I have pictures. I have before and afters. We're gonna do a tattoo and body modification episode.
That's also going to be give it some time too that can heal properly as well.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So,
we're not gonna check these out just yet
because you got how long until you're all done with the healing process?
Literally a week today on both of them.
Okay,
so it's still a little scabby. It's still a little gross, if you will. So it's been a week today. So you give it about a week and a half, and they're good.
Right.
They're good. So, jeez. But for me, I know that I really enjoyed tonight, and it was kind of a sporadic thing and a kind of back and forth and whatever moment. But this was fun. This was kind of a non like what do you call that, like
structured.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Episode to where we didn't know where we were going with this. We had no idea.
No,
So,
and it's. I mean, that's if anything, that's exactly what it should be. You know, it's
that's what this is.
podcasts are meant to. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with what we've done. Like, I mean, I'm gonna do plenty of episodes where it's like, can you tell, like, like what was it? I almost want to find. This is ambitious. I want to see if we can do an episode on what Colin did for a thing in Whose Lines It Anyway. It said unlikely Jeopardy subjects, and it said or what was it? He went up to the microphone and went, "I will take animal genitalia sound clues for 500." just like, all right, can you tell what type of animal this is? Just like spring howler monkey or something.
Me and my wife last Saturday. Oh,
Incorrect. The shaft was more oblonged, hence the sound. But so anyway,
hey, here's what I gotta ask: all four of you,
all four. Maybe the fifth one's gonna watch till now and subscribe.
Click like, comment, let us know what you want to do. No, us to do. Thank you. Let us know what you want us to do, and actually, here from here on out, we are going to have our the Instagram open. If you want to DM me because I'm the one who kind of controls all of that.
The Cavecast.
Yes. Let us know, because we always want new ideas.
Everything's in the description. You can find everything.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So let us know, guys. We really want to know what you guys want to hear us talk about, what we should talk about, what you think is relevant, anything. It could be anything. We are up for the challenge, anything like that. So
yeah, be our first fan suggestion.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be good.
We want to.
It'd be fun.
We want to play video games. We want to react. We want to, anything like that.
Yep.
So let us know. Have a good time. And other than that, do you have anything to say?
If I could say anything right now, it would be what Jerry Springer told us. No, what
You're not the father?
You know
oh,
what?
Wait, wrong show.
Maury. Those compilations are just amazing of the guys doing backflips when it's not their kid.
You are not the father.
No, what did we learn today? Is it really about your mojo? I'll leave it at that. Thank you. And,
good night, Click.
Ohio State Buckeyes rule.
You should have had your finger right there so you could just clicked it.
Yeah, I failed at that.